All right, here's the moment of truth that nobody was asking for. So we've got a manual seat back foam for, it actually doesn't matter, driver or passenger, it's the same part number. And then we've got here the power seat foam, and I believe these don't matter either from one side to the other. So you can see the part number kind of embossed into there, so that obviously matches there. And yeah, you can see there's part number. Kind of interesting they did like the 1 and the 2 and the 2 and the 8 stacked. But so really ultimately the question is, can you use, because these manual seat cushions, the backs, they're not available anymore from Toyota, just the power seat cushions. So the question to answer is, can you use a power seat back cushion for a manual seat? Generally, they're pretty close. You can see this is a little bit different. It's probably to accommodate the actual hinge on the manual seat, a little bit bigger cutout. You can notice that, unfortunately, you've got just one tie-in here for the fabric, but in this case we've got two. You at least have, so these holes, they end up not, so there isn't actually a rod embedded through here, which is actually a good thing. You'll notice these have rods embedded into it. So what ends up happening is on the back of the fabric for the cloth seat, there's kind of like a rubber band and some other ties. So they actually go through. So, I mean, you could just punch through the foam here, right here in the middle and there, and it might work. And now you may feel a little bit here. You could even lay in some foam if you wanted. But I think you probably wouldn't feel that in the seat back. So that's promising to see. That might be workable. You could also just not do the ties at all, or just do these ones here on the edges. Let's go ahead and flip these over and kind of see what the differences are. And again, it's kind of hard to tell because first I've got it in some really shitty light, but also this is worn quite a bit. So the one saving grace is if you're doing this and you might need new foam, and there's a couple of reasons why you might need new foam. See how it's cracked there. So it is aging, and that's a result of the support bars behind this, the little accordion things that I showed earlier, being broken, and so this cushion flexes way too much. But anyway, some of the other reasons is, so this is the driver's seat, and you can see the foam starting to break down. So at least one good thing is because these are reversible left to right on the vehicle, driver versus passenger, you could essentially just take off the seat backs from one seat to the next and flip them over, and that'll give you, some life, because you can tell this side isn't nearly as bad. Although there is some wear here. So let's flip these over and let's see kind of what they look like on the back side. So yeah, roughly more or less the same structure. So there's kind of a chance there's some additional cutouts here that don't exist on the manual seat. Again, those are going to be on the side, so those aren't really going to matter because there's like a knob for lumbar and stuff of that nature. So yeah, the real test will be taking the frame and putting it on. So let me go ahead and set this down and see how well it goes on. So that went on pretty good. There's a little disagreement here, but I think once you tie this up, there's a chance that this will ride up. It's roughly, obviously, roughly the same shape. There is one improvement. You can, thanks, bird. Blue jay. So you can see just in taking this off, this was actually done by the junkyard when they probably tore this. So you can see how they've modified the design on this to actually provide a little flap here, because that's where they tear anyway. This side was taken off a little bit more carefully. So yeah, I'm a little, generally like these supports through here, like those side bolsters, they fit pretty well. So yeah, this might actually be doable. And then, like I mentioned, those ties, you can see they came through here, here, and here. You would just need to basically, if you wanted to, just punch through the foam in those spots. And so that might, or just not do anything, which is, might work as well. So I think the next step is going to be taking the cover, the fabric cover, and putting it on here and just kind of seeing how it lines up. All right, so I've got the cushion on, and generally fitment's pretty good. I think, the right way to remember, just behind here is where the tie is for the back. I think so. If you punch down on this side and this side, maybe even in the middle, because remember it just goes through the cushion. It doesn't actually tie into the cushion. on this power seat. So, but yeah, fitment up here, that's all good. It's tight, it's the right size. Again, the manual seat kind of cuts a little straighter, so that might be an issue, but we're not going to know that until we put the seat on. So let me flip this over. Flipping it over and looking at the back, and yeah, this is going to tie up nicely. It's got to reach up to there. These sides, they're going to, you know, again, once you really stress it and get it on there, this comes over and attaches into this bar. So that's going to work. So yeah, I think there's enough indication here that it'll work, at least enough to continue reassembling the seat and seeing where we get. So remember those ties for the cushion, or for the fabric on the front, yeah, they're going to come through and yeah, tie into about like right here. So yeah, so we'll get that done and yeah, and proceed. This is, yeah, it's looking hopeful. Right, here's the seat back put partially on, and this is without this part tied down. So you can see there's quite a bit of, you know, yeah, fluff. So yeah, we're definitely going to need to tie this down. Remember, there are 3 spots here that need to go through the cushion. So we'll go ahead and do that. Right, so locating here on the back side, you can push up through the bottom of the foam and really feel where those rods are. So the top rod's right here, and the bottom rod's right down here. So yeah, we need to come up right in between. But the good news is there's a side rod right about here, and you can pretty much just push like right through it. So I actually used a big screwdriver. So yeah, I'm actually going to be able to tie the sidebar and the bungee and this accordion thing all together. All right, so decided I haven't done the bungee yet. Just taking the rod that backs and is in the middle part of the fabric here, and zip tied that to the back here. These are pretty tight. So now that that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and push the bungee through here, and also try and grab the side rod, you know, on the foam, just on this side, and then also over here, and then yeah, that should do it for the back. Right, so that's all done. We've got the rubber band tied into here. Also, yeah, the fabric tied in as best we can. Remember, we don't have this channel, you know, there's a channel here and the channel here, so we're just kind of strapping it down, and then yeah, the bungee is tied in here, and those zip ties are all nice and tight. So let's go ahead and flip this over and see just generally how it lays now. And yeah, it's not bad. Could be better. That will partially improve with these bungees, right? So that bungee, as I pull this, it kind of sucks it down. So that'll help get it nice and tight. And yeah, you can see that top part now is, yeah, nice and tight. So cool. Yeah, outside of, and we'll continue putting this back together, but yeah, outside of some like foam issues, yeah, there's hope. Okay, so the first conflict has presented itself when putting on like the side bracket here. This part of the cushion from where the tape measure is to the end is just a little too wide. So just double checking this. This measures, yeah, almost 18 inches. Coming down to the original cushion, we've got just under 16 inches. So yeah, this is going to have to be cut back, and yeah, you can kind of see the difference there. If we look there versus there, you can see there's a lot more of like a landing here. So yeah, need to get creative and yeah, cut off about 1 inch of foam there, roughly, more or less, to have it line up with the bar here, maybe just a little bit beyond. So just a little bit beyond. So that's what we're doing. All right, so there's the wedge, and yeah, now you see we've got clearance there. So yeah, essentially I just sliced in, you know, following the angle here. So sliced in and then just went down until I met it. So yeah, relatively clean there. A little wide there, but other than that, yeah, that's okay. And yeah, that should give us clearance here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side too. So yeah, here we are. We've got the bottom hinges, or the side hinges on. So basically the top is done, besides just a few more ties. All right, so what we ended up doing was using zip ties because we had a little bit of compression to do between the front of the fabric and this bar. We use the zip ties to tuck that in, right? So those are replicating what's done on the original seat here, here, and here, but those are just going and tying into the fabric. And then we've got some actual hog rings tying the end of the bungee cord, or the rubber band, into the side bar that runs. Now this side bar wasn't present on the manual seat, but it's there, so you might as well tie into it. And so we did that on both sides, just poking a hole there. We had to do a little bit of cutting, which you can't even see now. That's, you know, hidden back behind these hinges. And yeah, just need to, you know, finish draping this along, and then yeah, put the cover on. So yeah, that is all kind of done, and yeah, I think it's going to turn out all right. So let me flip this over, and this will tighten up a little bit, obviously, here on the side as we, you know, kind of suck that down. But yeah, I think the answer to the question, can the power seat backs, or the cushion for the seat, the power seats in the back, can those be used for manual seats? And I think the answer is yes. Now it's a little, you know, it's got there's a line in here, right, where, and also up here, but I think when you're laying on it and you're sitting back on it, yeah, I think you're not going to know. So next step will be just putting all this together, putting the bottom cushions on. I only have like 3 more hog rings, so we're going to have to take a break. But yeah, when next time you see this, these seats will be all put back together. All right, so there's the driver's seat in all of its glory, all reassembled. Just a couple areas of wear due to the cushion having been worn out. But now this thing is all back together. This is a power seat cushion. You can see here, that's the only little spot where you need to trim, you know, besides what I showed, just to, you know, tighten that up to the fabric. And that's done on both sides. But yeah, and that side I did better, obviously. But yeah, look at that. It's, yeah, pretty dang good, I'd say. So yeah, you can't even tell, and it feels, yeah, just the same. So anyway, so yeah, it looks like that power seat cushion is definitely a workaround for these manual seats.